And again, I was just absolutely floored. I'm like, how the heck is this even happening to me right now? Like, I've never really felt like I've heard from God like that. And it was just an incredible experience, quite frankly. Well, hey, welcome back to the next video of your favorite man of God. My name is Robert Harold. I am super pumped that you decided to watch my next video. Today, I'm going to be talking about my move to Atlanta and how God moved me across the country. Yes, I said it right. I moved across the country about 6 months ago. It was quite an amazing experience, to say the least. It was honestly just a God move. Like, I couldn't give anybody else the credit other than God. It was only Him that made this happen, okay? This might be kind of a long video, so grab the popcorn and tune right in. I can't wait to share with you exactly how this played out. So, reverse, about 2 years ago, I was living in downtown Houston at a four-story condo, and I really loved my house there. It was so convenient, close to all the restaurants and bars and nightlife activity, and I was just really enjoying my time there. Well, at the time, I was dating someone that I got engaged to. It ultimately didn't end up working out, but that will be saved for another video. But in that process, I really felt like God was telling me to move. I was really taken back by what I felt God was telling me to do because I was quite frankly really enjoying living there. I feel like I had made lots of friends living downtown and my life was going well. So I wasn't exactly motivated to move from my house. And so I kept praying about it and I kept praying about it. And my lease was coming up to be renewed. And I ended up having a falling out with my landlord. We didn't exactly see eye to eye. And so I decided to move into a house that I owned on the west side of Houston. This house was a home that I was remodeling that I planned on selling. Well, just about the time that the house was getting really close to being finished, my lease was up. So I figured, what the heck? Why not just move into this house temporarily till I can figure out what I'm going to do? Um, and I quite frankly loved this house. Okay. It had a pool in the backyard. It was completely remodeled head to toe. It was a 3 bedroom, 2 bath house. It was about 2,000 square foot. And I loved it. Okay. I really loved it. And I felt like I was doing what God was calling me to do at the same time. So it felt like a blessing and also like me being obedient at the same time. And so I really thought that's the move that God wanted me to make. And so as I get settled in, probably a month and a half go by, and I still can't shake the feeling like God is still calling me to move. And I can't explain it, but I began to become very uneasy about staying where I was because I knew that God was calling me to something different. I just couldn't figure out what it was. So I kept praying about it. I kept praying about it. And I ended up going to City Revival at my church. For those of you that don't know, City Revival is a 3 day conference where different speakers and pastors come in from out of town and they give a message. We'll have a worship session before that, and then they have their message. Well, I'm just in the middle of service on the first day of City Revival, and I'm praying, and I'm like, okay, God, what am I supposed to do? I would really just love a move of your spirit here in this place. And I felt him say back to me, well, I want you to move to Atlanta. And I was kind of taken back by that because I didn't know anything about Atlanta. Okay. That was not on the radar whatsoever, like at all. And I so clearly heard him say the words, Awaken Atlanta. Okay. So here I am in church service, just minding my business, spending time with God, and like God drops this on me, and I just kind of meditated on it for a second, and I decided to take out my phone and I Google what is Awaken Atlanta? Sure enough, the first search result says Awaken Atlanta, a neighborhood church coming to Atlanta spring 2025. And I was absolutely floored. I was like, come on, seriously, like move to Atlanta to help this church? Like, no way. Like I just couldn't believe it. Okay. I just kind of sat with it in my spirit and, I sat down because the worship service was over and I was just thinking about it. Okay. Well, sure enough, the pastor gets up and he starts telling the story about how he was in the Atlanta airport. And I was just floored. I'm like, are you kidding? So not only did God drop this in my spirit about moving to Atlanta in that night, he also gave me a confirmation that I heard correctly. The pastor starts talking about Atlanta. And I didn't know what to do. Quite frankly, I didn't know how to react to that situation because, quite frankly, I've never really felt like God has just clearly spoken to me like that. And it was new for me. It was very new for me. So I kept praying about it. And as I went home, I just couldn't shake the thought. It just stayed in my head all night. And I woke up in the morning and I was like, you know what? I need to just explore this. I need to see what this is about because if God is calling me to it, it is my responsibility to see it through and to pursue what He is calling me to, right? And so I decided to book a flight. So I took a flight out to Atlanta. I just kept exploring, I kept praying about it. And over the course of a year, I kept getting confirmation about moving. And this was a really, really big decision for me because my entire family lives in Houston. All my friends live in Houston. I was raised there. My entire life was there. My business colleagues, like everybody I know, was in Houston. So for me to move to Atlanta, it made no logical sense. Like it didn't make any sense to people around me that I was explaining this to. They were like, why would you move to Atlanta? And quite frankly, I was asking myself the same question. Like, why would I be moving to Atlanta? It doesn't make sense. But God has his own plan. so so I just kept exploring and kept praying about it and asking God like what am I doing, right? Like what is this actually happening? Like I feel like you're calling me to it. I'm still not really sure. Like I would love some confirmation, right? And so I start asking God for confirmation as I'm still living in Houston. And there was this one confirmation that I got that is just absolutely undeniably God. Like you can't even think of this stuff. Like it's this confirmation was honestly it just knocked my socks off. All right, quite frankly, it really did. So I'm going to explain exactly what happened. So I was driving down the road and I was asking God for a confirmation. And I'm a car guy. So I really pay attention to nice cars. I love fast cars, sports cars, anything foreign, BMW, Lamborghini. I love all of it, right? I love all the cars. And there was this vehicle that drove by. It was a red Ferrari. So beautiful. It was a candy red Ferrari. I was like, wow, that is such an amazing car. I'm distracted. I'm just thinking about the car. And then shortly seconds later, this other red Ferrari passes me on the other side of the freeway. So I'm going down the freeway this way, and the other car is coming this way. And so another red Ferrari passes me. I'm like, wow, what a coincidence. That's so cool that you see two red Ferraris in the same day. Like, what are the odds, right? What are the odds? So I continue praying about it. I didn't think anything about these Ferraris. And then later on in that day, there was a third Ferrari that totally caught my attention. Okay, this Ferrari was very, very similar to the other ones, but it had a unique quality about it that the others did not have. This red Ferrari was on top of a flatbed towing truck. And I'm actually going to post a picture of that Ferrari because It was pretty amazing. So this red Ferrari is sitting on top of this flatbed tow truck. And as it's passing me on the left, I'm in the not the fast lane, but the lane right beside it. As it's passing me on the left in the fast lane, I look at the license plate of the Ferrari, and sure enough, the license plate says the word awaken. And again, I was just absolutely floored. Like, I'm like, how the heck is this even happening to me right now? Like, I've never really felt like I've heard from God like that. And it was just an incredible experience, quite frankly. So, yeah, a lot of confirmations like that just kept happening over the course of a year. And it was undeniably God. Like, there's no one else that could have done that. Like, that's not coincidence. It's clearly God speaking to me. And so I had an obligation to like pursue what he's calling me to. And so that's what I did. So as I'm living in this new house on the west side of Houston, I am still like in the process of like getting it fixed up, right? So it wasn't completely remodeled when I moved in. It was almost there, but there were like still some touch ups that needed to be completed before it was like market ready. Um, because I really wanted to get top of the market value for it, and it kind of be like a financial buffer as I'm going to Atlanta. And so I'm in the process of getting it fixed up. It's taking a while. Okay. I started to get eager about moving, and I was trying to hurry things along. I was trying to get the house ready. I was trying to put new fixtures, do like different upgrades, do some extra painting. There was like some work that needed to be done to the pool in the backyard. Like there was a few things that needed to be done in order to have it 100%. And it just felt like it was dragging on. Okay. I probably spent an additional 4 months trying to fix up certain things as I could. As money came in, I would like spend extra money here to like fix it up to make it super nice. And it just felt like it was dragging on, like it wasn't moving fast enough for me anyway. And yeah, so as the months go on, during this time, I'm traveling back and forth to Atlanta. I'm like trying to find a new place to live. I couldn't figure out if I wanted to rent. I kind of wanted to buy. I was really leaning more towards like buying something just because I didn't want to rent. Um, but God has his own plans, right? And that's kind of a theme of this video. God has his own plans. So I meet up with this realtor in Atlanta. We're like house hunting. We're like trying to figure it out. Still waiting to get my house on the market, still trying to figure out all of that. So, anyways, I get my house on the market finally, and I get all these beautiful photos done. I get a video done. Like, I did the whole nine. Like I did everything that a good agent would do at the time, and I get the property to tip-top shape. It's the most beautiful house in the neighborhood. I mean, it's fantastic. So I throw it on the market. I price it fairly well. The house just sits. Okay, the house just sits there. Nothing happens for some more months. I mean, I probably am pushing 2 months on the market. And then a buyer comes along. Okay. The buyer was in the process of selling their own house. So I finally negotiate a deal with this buyer. And the buyer's like, I got this house in the Memorial area. It's a beautiful home. It'll sell super fast, yada, yada. So I take a contingency offer. Now, keep in mind, this offer that they gave me was above asking price. Okay. And I didn't have to pay an agent. So it was like a super win. Like there was a ton of favor there. But the catch was I had to wait for their house to sell. So here we are waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And I'm still hunting for a house. And I still have things lined up. Like I'm trying to buy a house in Atlanta. Like I'm trying to figure it out, right? So I find a house in Atlanta that I want to buy, and I know that the closing date for the buyers is getting closer. So I was able to put a house under contract. I was in the process of purchasing a new home in Atlanta. So we get down to the closing date. We're a few days away. I got the movers coming in, like it's all happening. So the realtor calls me and tells me, Robert, this move is not happening. What? Robert, this move is not happening. And I just about lost my mind. Dun, dun, dun. So, yeah, that is part one of my move to Atlanta. There's still so much more to share, but I want to leave it for the next video because there's a lot more that happened that I really want to dive deep into. And so, I'm super excited that you took a little bit of time to watch this part one of the video, but I have so much more to share in the next video. So if you can, drop a like, drop a comment, anything that stood out to you about my story. If there's anything that you feel like I should talk about as far as my move to Atlanta, or if you want to know more about me, drop something in the comments. Let me know what you want to hear from me. But go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and that way you can keep up to date on my next video that drops. I don't want you to miss it. So that was all for part one. I will catch you guys in the next video. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Peace.